Hey guys, Tarke here. Today we've got a Frostblades champion from our good friend Tony, and he's given us a couple of notes here. So I'll just read through what he's put down, and then we'll try and, improve anything we can. Just a heads up, these kind of builds, especially like the slightly more wonkier melee skill stuff like Frostblades, this is very much outside of my wheelhouse. This will take me slightly longer to get through. Apologies for that. A few notes relating to the build. Vol Molten Shell mostly for bossing, letting Steel Skin automate while mapping. The minuscule fire damage on gloves is just a proc ignite for the Sadist Jewel. Some Victor/Rampage weapon swap. Vortex setup for Bone Chill, increased damage taken and some defensive utility. Planning to pick up life nodes as I level. Gonna prefix lock scale multi-craft the claw I'm using right now. Then he just said, brief update, dropped Vol Molten Shell and the Vortex of Vol Haste/Grace. Also crafted the claw figure to update you since you might get to it today, and I've changed it a lot. So this is the most recent version of the build. My initial reactions, 5k life. Yeah, he's got acro phase acro, but it's not enough. So we need to try and get more defense going into this build. But before we start like tearing stuff up down, let's go through his links, go through his items, and see if anything just jumps out as like, this is something we can improve. So he's got Wedding Blades, Fast Attacks, Blood Rage, Hatred, Herald Vice, Blasphemy, Frostbite. Ancestral Projector, Culling Strike, Ancestral War Chief, Multi-Totems. Vol Grace, Frost Blink, Val Haste, Increased Duration. Steel Skin, Custom Check, and Frost Bomb. Frostblades, LE damage with attacks. Fortify. Right, isn't Frostblades weird with like how melee damage scales the hit but doesn't scale the proj and shit? So Fortify will scale the hit, but it won't scale the projectiles or something. Melee physical damage, same with that. Melee physical damage will scale the hit, but it won't scale the proj. Multi-strike scales both. And Light Blade. Yeah, you just focus on the hit. Yeah, okay, cool. Crit multi can only be used with claws or daggers. Okay, kind of interesting. Let's move that to the top. So we look at the kind of numbers. We're looking at like 1k, sorry, 1 mil. So this is the claw he just crafted. So it's got pretty nice fizz. It's got a little bit of attack pen with lightning. And some attack speed, some crit. Okay. Bloodseeker for the instant leech. Right. He's got a Frostblades damage helm with a nice chunk of accuracy, 100 life. So it's like a decent helmet. And he's got 90% hit chance. We want to push that up. 90 is a bit low. You want to have like 95 plus on these kind of builds. He's got a pretty solid chest, a good chunk of life, good chunk of resists, percent life, and a little bit dodge. Decent pair of gloves, 90 life, some attack speed, a little bit of flat, and he says the flat fire was to proc stuff. Unaffected by chilled ground, decent boots, good chunk of strength, good chunk of int, only 70 life, but the high strength roll makes it feel better. He's running an Impresence, which is where he's running the Blasphemy Frostbite. Good life roll on there. Bunch of Black Cold. Circle of Fear for increased cold damage affected by Herald of Ice, and cold res affected by Herald of Ice. Okay. His other ring is a opal with again good life, good res, a little bit of flat fizz. Good life. So his gear's pretty fucking lit. He could have like more wed scaling. Because obviously he doesn't have any wed on his Ami because he's a unique Ami. And then, so this ring would be better if it also had wed on it, but you know, fair enough. It is an opal, so it's got the increased LE damage there, so it's kind of whatever. Then he's just got a double damage onslaught jewel. No life, sadly. He's kind of low on life. Fitting more life into the build is going to be the main thing we're really going to just be looking for. And let's look at the cluster jewel setup. All res, LE damage, increased damage for ignited shield. So that's Sadist, so he's proccing the chilling in the night. Is he shocking? Is he only flat lightning? He's got some flat lightning in his claw, so he's gonna be shocking sometimes, maybe like 1% shock. And then he's got crit multi if you've taken a hit recently. Increased effective chill, you infect with crits. Interesting. During the show generation, nice, I like that. Increased damage against shocked chilled. Power charge gen. Nice. And his chilled way hits are shocked, and his chilled way hits are chilled. Nice. So he's always chilling, so he's always shocking because of cold conduction. Okay, that's cool. Then he's got Fedel. Okay, so his gears, like, he knows what he's doing. His gears pretty solid. So now we're just like, how can we add more life to this tree is really the only thing. That's gonna be a real struggle. Right, so we're gonna have to start off by trying to cut any of the lowest DPS clusters and then see what points we have to play with. If we could just fit in Sun Life or even just route into Shadow Star and pick up some life here, an extra 20% or something, you know, even just going into range of start we're very close to, that would do it. So what have we got from this? So that's 0.8 per point. Is it configured against blinded enemies? Okay, so we need to say blinded, we need to say they're chilled, we need to say they're ignited, and they're going to be shocked, let's say, I don't know, a 10% shock. Let's say they're a boss. So still 740k is decent. You do have power charge generation, you do have endurance charges as well. If you've taken a savage hit, it shoots up. Still 3. So we're looking at 840. Does he have a source of intimidate anywhere? Yes, that's strike less to full, so the enemy is intimidated. He is taunted because he's got the taunt stuff as well. So he's got 100% hit chance with the taunt. So that's at 1.2. His crit chance lucky. Yeah, he's already activated there, but okay. So yeah, his numbers are looking pretty solid. His numbers are looking pretty solid. So it's just a case of like, can we just get defense into the build? He had fortify in his link, so he has fortify. Right. His numbers are looking good. Alright. So these are still only 1.8 per point though against blinded enemies. So I'm gonna say we drop that. That's only 2 per point. His crit chance isn't great though, so I don't really want to drop that. 3.3 per point. 3.6 per point. Claws of the Magpie doesn't seem that great. I think you could maybe cut those 2 points. Occasionally he's going to be yoinking some charges, which is kind of cute. And it's still 10% attack, so 10% damage. And that's still like increased recovery. Like that's still good, but I'm trying to drag out any points that I can because I want to fit life in. So that would be 3.7 per point, and we'll put him next to a bunch of life nodes. So that would be, you know, I've got to cut those 2 points to put you closer to here. I'd want to then do that, and that. That would then take you to 94. You gained like 500-600 flat life. Pretty good. Is going through the fizz better than going through the attack speed? That's total DPS 0.8. 1. Yeah. I'd go through that way. This is better. Wants the strike range. Doesn't need the accuracy because he's getting it from there. How are we going to boost this guy's stuff? Maybe go around the dual wield nodes and duelist start. Or just go 1-2, skip them. I think we might have to skip them. Like, I've seen a lot of people just doing this out of duelists these days. Just because it's like, points are so starved because of cluster jewels. But we need as much life as we can. I think we're going to yoink out at the start of there. We should make this a 3-point jewel. Sort of a 2-point jewel. For life jewels, I always want it to be 3 points, not 2 points. Because generally you're taking them because you need the extra life. Like, the endurance charge generation, the avoid ailment stuff, the max res, they're very strong, and those you always want to be 2-pointers. But if you're going to use a life jewel over like a max res jewel, you're doing it because you desperately need more life. So if you're doing that, go for like a 3.1 because you're just trying to fit life in. So I want to cap this out at like 95. And he hasn't got. I mean, that's a nice triple crit multi-jewel, but it's got no life on it. I want to make it like a 95 build. What can I add? What can I add? 4.5 DPS per point. Yeah, that seems like a bit of a no-brainer over some other stuff, like... Crit chance 41. Crit chance 30. Crit chance 38. 33. He's doing it because he wants the crit, but like if you're gonna add points in, Heartseeker's pretty good. So the thing I used to play a lot of Frostblades. The thing I found really annoying was the cluster jewels yoinking up. Like, because that's 5 skill points. Like, 5 skill points is worth a lot in a world with cluster jewels. Like, that's 14% life, and like, I mean, comparing it to all this crit multi, right? It's a lot of fucking damage. It's a lot of damage. He's getting 5% pen per point and prod speed, and like, it's decent. He's getting 5% pen and 5% cold damage, is good. It's good, but it's just awkward. I don't like cluster jewels, but that's a separate discussion, I guess. I like what this changes so far. We've managed to add like 500 life, 600 life to the build, which is something. Is there any way that we could like drop this and instead do like that into that into that into that? Like if we could have that be the tree, that would be great. So be dropped Twin Terrors. Let's see. The approach speed is nice, but I don't think it's worth it. I think you want to go for something sort of like that. Maybe then drop these points. Maybe drop those points instead, come this way. Because you're like, yes, there's taxi there being taxi there, and then also getting a bunch of crit. Because that's 3 points, that's 4 points. Without 4 points, then being closer into, yeah. To be honest, you know what the issue with this build is? The issue with this build is that it's a champion. This would be so much cleaner as a ranger. Because if this was a ranger, you would just drop all of this, fill in this start. Because it's like, past here doesn't feel that great. I think that's the main issue with this build. Or if it was like a shadow, it would be cleaner as well. Because then you could like skip this and just go to Sun Life. So yeah, have you considered just remaking your character completely? Have you considered just starting again? Hmm. Otherwise, what we could do is we could maybe drop all of that and then just do this. Money one tree. Swap that jewel to there. Put another fight for survival in there. I don't think he does have an Assassin's Mark set up anywhere, does he? If he had an Assassin's Mark, that'd be one way of boosting the... Oh, because he did the Frostbite. I don't think the Frostbite in Presence is really worth, because your crit is so low. I'd rather have an Assassin's Mark on hit ring. Yeah, I don't think the Blasphemy Frostbite's really worth. He's got enough mana reservation that you could just do Herald of Ice, Curse on hit. I don't really like this whole Ancestral Protector, like, this shit. Yeah, it's damage, but, like, you're just adding all this extra stuff that you've got to, like, drop. You know what I mean? I think it's just kind of memey. Like, you can keep it if you want to keep it, but I don't think it's really worth. So you can't really have Vol Haste enabled, because that's cheesing your numbers. Also, the Frost Blink isn't really doing anything for you, and it's just giving you in requirements. I'd say keep the Val Grace. You could keep the Val Haste if you want to, just don't enable it, because it is just cheesing your numbers. That's fine. Otherwise, we've just like cut his damage in half by dropping a bunch of situational buffs. Also, if you're gonna have a Frostbomb cast on damage taken, you want it to be low level. So don't run Steel Skin, run Immortal Call. So you like Immortal Call level 3, cast damage taken level 1, like Frostbomb level, I don't know, 6, 7. 9, 10. Alright, let's see what a Assassin's Mark would give in comparison. 8.4, 11.6 would boost your base crit by a lot. Yeah. I don't know. I don't particularly like it. If you want to keep it, fine. If you want to keep it, fine. I'd very much want to run a dash second skin. Crit multi is so low. Let's pull that shit back in. Okay, let's go back to this version. Was the crit multi from like Blade active? Oh no, sorry. Okay. If you're not going Sun Life, I'd definitely say go into Shadow Start. Right. 2.2 per point. It's like, eh. Fit those 2 points back in. 91. 23. Guess then you could route back through this shit. That'd be your 95 tree. Just feels 5.5k life just feels low to me, but I guess you could do that as your tree. It's about the same damage as what we started with, but we've added in this stuff. Yeah, you could just route. You could change the routing 1, 2, 3. Instead, go along the bottom and then drop acro phase, acro go and reflexes. He's got a lot of evasion. And go VMS. This is an easy 20k. I'd be tempted to do that way. It's less points as well. And then the points you save, you could then fill in Twin Terrors again to get the crit up a bit higher. Maybe like a level 96 tree. And then I guess you could cut that point to get back to 95. But... It's annoying that you need these points for the rest of your fizz conversion. I wish rooting along this way would ever feel like the right choice. It never feels like the right choice on any build I ever play, but I wish rooting through that way would feel less shitty. It feels weird not going into Ranger start. Again, if you played this as a Ranger, it would be like a much neater tree, because you just lop everything off past this point. But I kind of like this. I kind of like this. It gets the cluster jewels he needs to activate. Sorry, he gets the big cluster jewel. He gets both of the jewels there. Gets IR. Gets like 20k armor. I wouldn't run a sulfur flask. I'd run a life flask. Like you said, you feel squishy. It's like, bruh. You're not running a quicksilver because you're whirling around everywhere. You don't have staunching. You don't have bleed removal on anything, do you? Do you have? Yeah, you have corrupted blood on that, I guess. Yeah. Right, let's just quickly look at Assassin's Mark again versus this shit. Total DPS 9.1, total DPS 10.1. I'd be tempted to just Assassin's Mark it up and then use a different amulet with like crit multi and shit instead of the Impresence. And you could like move the hatred to a different link, and you could also have like an Orb of Storms or something here. You could also get Assassin's Mark on a ring. But you could do Herald of Ice, Assassin's Mark, Curse on hit. I don't know. Brand or some shit, you know. Orb of Storms. Vortex is a good instant curse on hit if you want an instant curse on hit, and he was running Vortex at one point to chill shit. Whoops. And then remove that Ami, and then instead go for a you wouldn't be a level, sorry, I was just quickly, you wouldn't use a level 20 Vortex, but craft amulet, strength and int. Life. Just get the fat life roll. Wed. What's crit multi? Because your crit multi is like low, so it's just like pump up the crit multi. And then you can get like resists and other shit. Yeah, I don't know. It depends like how you want to do it. It really depends how you want to do it. But I think you'd probably be better off going for just an Ami. And then obviously if you with the amulet you can then like with influences and everything, then it definitely gets better. Like if you can get like Pen or Fizz's Chaos or you know, whatever. Or just a bunch of flat stats. Having more resistances is always nice. It frees up other gearing slots. Obviously, if you had a jewel with life on it, as well. So again, you need life in a build like this. You need life on every slot because you've just got no fucking life in your build. So you know, let's not be greedy. Just say that, and then yeah, fizz damage to claws. And then onslaught. Yeah, you lose damage, but like you want your life to just go as high as you can get it. And then let's fuck around with some of these links a bit. So you could then do Vol Grace, increased duration, Vol Molten Shell. Second Wind. You could drop the Vol Grace and just do Vol Molten Shell. You can keep the Vol Grace if you want to keep the Vol Grace. I'd probably go for, like, again, the Curse on hit setup. You could also just get a Status Mark on a ring and then freeze up a bunch of extra links there. Yeah, you could also shove a Cold Snap or something in those links for Frenzy Charge generation. Rip his capped dodge. I mean, his capped dodge was he had Vol Grace active. Like anyone can cap their dodge by just clicking Vol Grace. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, if I have 100% uptime on this aura that doesn't have 100% uptime, and I take these points on the tree, you know, it's like, oh. I don't know. I think I prefer this tree though. I think I prefer this tree. Again, if you want to keep the acro phase acro, then you just route along that way. Drop the Iron Reflexes. I think Iron Reflex is the way to go. Also, there's lots of just small hits. This league, and armor is good against small. Armor is exceptionally good against small hits because of the way that armor works. So if you don't know, the bigger the hit, the less effective armor is. The smaller the hit, the more effective armor is. There's just lots of constant small hits coming in. So I think that'd be the correct way to do it. As I said, if I was to make this character, I would probably do this as a raider. And if you're going to be on this part of the tree, you may as well make it worthwhile. So get Iron Reflexes. It makes Unstoppable Hero feel much better. It makes all of these just evasion nodes feel a lot better. So it's like, if you're going to do this as a champion, you need to justify why did I do this as a champion and not as a raider or as an assassin, right? So I think that is a good justification of why you did it as a champion, because you wanted to go Iron Reflexes. I like your Colossal Jewel setup. Your Colossal Jewel setup is pretty cool. Yeah, the only other thing you could maybe look into doing is run the Elemental Avoidance Jewels. That is just something I've been recommending to just everyone at the moment because they're just very powerful. But otherwise, a lot better than I expected. Usually when people say, oh, Tarke, can you help me with my Frostblades build? It's kind of like 50k single target damage. We're looking at like a pretty clean 1 milli damage, and that was... This is after we removed all the bullshit situational buffs. If you were to add in the, you know, Ancestral Warchief Protector, and then the Ancestral Warchief Totem, and then the Multi-Totem, and all this other shit, you know, then we can, you know, just flood the numbers again. So I think this is pretty clean. I think this is quite nice. This also doesn't have any, like, Vol Haste stuff randomly ticked on. So, yeah, I'm actually really happy with how this turned out in the end. So, yeah, I'm Tarke, thanks as always for the support, Tony. Hope this was helpful, and if you've got any suggestions of Tony's build, then please let us know in the comments. Have a good day. Bye-bye.